Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to be talking about how I became an entrepreneur and how I started making over $100,000 doing lashes. So I want to start with the why and how I got into doing lashes. So the reason that I got into lashes is because I just kind of got tired of working for other people, and COVID kind of triggered that. So I'll kind of dive right in right now. Before COVID happened, I had been a banker at PNC Bank on Will Street, downtown Chicago, for about 2 years. I was making about a $50,000 salary at PNC Bank as a banker, and eventually I ended up getting a second job right across the street at Massage Envy, and it was kind of like it worked out perfectly for me. Now, anybody that knows me knows that I always have like kept two jobs, or I've always like went to school and had a job. I've been working jobs since I was 15 years old. It was like a little hidden cafe, but it was nice. I was getting paid underneath the table, but that was like my first job. I was still in high school. So at the time, like I said, I was working at PNC Bank as a banker, and I ended up getting a job across the street to work part-time when I wasn't at PNC Bank. I didn't have a son at that time. It was just me. I had a lot of free time. So I'm the type, if I have free time, I'm just going to make more money. So I would work at PNC and then get off of PNC and go walk across the street and maybe work like 4 hours. And then I would probably do like 2 weekend days. So between PNC Bank and my second job at Massage Envy, every 2 weeks I was probably making like $2,500, which was okay for me. I was in a much smaller apartment. It was a 1-bedroom. I didn't have any real responsibilities outside of rent and my car note and insurance. Now, when COVID happened, that changed. So it really scared me. When COVID happened, luckily I was able to keep my job at the bank as a banker, because they considered PNC bankers, or any banker for that matter, to be an essential worker. So we had to still go to work even when the city was shut down because people needed money. So the job at Massage Envy, that wasn't considered a essential position, and I was only a receptionist there, so they did let me go. It was a couple things that actually made me venture off, but losing the job at Massage Envy scared me in the sense of, oh shit, what if this happens at PNC Bank? What if they decide to lay us off, especially now because everybody's laying everybody off, so it would be the perfect time. So I just kind of took it for what it was. I didn't really get too much in a frenzy. I was just thinking, well, I'll just get another job eventually. So that was kind of like strike one, me losing my job at Massage Envy. Strike two was, I remember our regional manager coming into the bank having a talk with us because we weren't selling products as much. And if you've ever been a banker, then you know what I mean. Products as far as credit cards, personal loan, mortgages, they make money off fees and interest. The regional manager came into the bank and had a talk with us, and it was kind of like a scare tactic, which I didn't appreciate at all. I don't like anybody like playing around with my livelihood or my money or anything like that. So he came into the bank and he had us all sit around in this circle, and to make a long story short, he said that we should be grateful that PNC kept us employed, and in order to thank them, we should return the favor by selling products. Now, it pissed me off because we're in a fucking crisis. Nobody has money to give you guys, to give the damn bank. So, and keep in mind, the priority at the job is to make sure we're taking care of people's financial well-being. If I'm busy trying to sell a product to somebody that's telling me they just got laid off, what good does that do them besides piss them off? And I'm the sitting front and center, so I receive the heat, not you. You sit at your computer and look at numbers and send out emails all day, but you want us to push products into these people's faces and nobody knows where anything is going. Like, it was almost like we were leading into a depression until the government started spewing money back into America, because they had to, or else we would have been in a depression. Nevertheless, I didn't like that he did that. So it never left my mind. It kind of pissed me off. And I remember when he made the comment, I locked eyes with him and I kind of gave him like a death stare, because it's like, don't tempt us, because in a way you're saying, if you don't sell products, we're going to fire your ass. Now, this wasn't just a talk with me. My other coworkers and the managers and everything was sitting there, but I probably took it the most personal because I'm a hustler and you ain't finna play with my money. So I said to myself, okay, I got it. So I started to get irritated with the job. So that was strike two. Now, keep in mind, during COVID, I'm sure you guys remember this, people in the beauty industry, they were making double of everything. Because one thing about Americans, they love to look good. So they can announce and say that the world is going to end tomorrow, and everybody's going to be running in this country. Everybody is going to be running to get haircuts, nails done, because we just like to look good as Americans. So it's a $1 billion industry. So I was one of the people who was paying double to get service because I like to look good. So I started thinking to myself, God damn, how much are these girls making? They was killing it. And I'm like, damn, I'm missing out. They was like out hustling the men. And I'm like, shit, I need to get in where I fit in. Now, so that was kind of like the third strike that kind of prompted me to be like, you need to do something. You need to get on this bag, And with me being a pretty girl, people are always asking me, hey, who did your lashes? Who did your nails? Who did your hair? So I was thinking, hell, I need to do something in the beauty industry. So my sister had already planted a bug in my ear well before COVID happened. She planted a bug in my ear right when I got hired at the bank. She told me, why don't you get into the beauty industry? Because she had gotten into the beauty industry and she was in it for about 6 months to a year already. She was much happier than she was when she was working in corporate America. Me and all of my sisters have worked in corporate America. So we all experienced the same things. She was much happier. She had a freer schedule. She was able to make what she wanted to make. And when I actually started seeing the fruits of her labor, it popped back up into my mind during COVID. I was thinking, shit, I need to get in, So my sister, she was doing microblading and she was doing lashes. So she kind of taught me the ropes about doing lashes. I did a lot of my own research and studies and stuff like that. And I also attended esthetician school. Now, keep in mind, esthetician school does not teach you how to do lashes. They teach you things about facials and things like that. I went to G Skin and Beauty right downtown on State Street. I don't recommend that school to anybody, but that's where I went. They don't teach you anything about lashes. Just like when you go to hair school, they don't teach you anything about how to do frontals. These schools really teach you how to do sanitary things. Either you got the talent or you don't. You can go to school, but if you're not talented, you're not going to get no damn clients. So somewhere you have to have the talent, Now back to what I'm saying. So when my sister, that conversation came back to me, and keep in mind, with COVID happening, I got laid off from Massage Envy, and that kind of scared me, because I was like, but whatever. So I wanted to keep up with that second income. I had got used to that money, and I was thinking, well, I might as well just start doing lashes, and I did. I started practicing, but I kept my job at PNC Bank. But I had already mapped out a plan, an exit plan from that job. Not saying that I planned on making lashes my main priority as far as income goes. I just knew that I was going to leave the bank, and I didn't know where I was going to go. But I knew that the bank was somewhere that I wanted to be right then and there, and I wanted to have the income from lashes. So I mapped out a whole plan. I told myself, okay, well, you're going to practice for this long. You're going to take a model on this month. Then you're going to start taking clients on this month. I had everything mapped out, and I was still doing all of this stuff while I was working at the bank. So when I started practicing lashes, it was October. I took a couple models, maybe like 6 models, and I did all of that in October. Now, this is what prompted me to actually start taking clients. I remember I had 2 models on a specific day, and one of the girls were actually one of the girls that I was going to school with, esthetician school with. So I had her and another girl. I did the first girl, and her lashes came out so nice. They were so cute. And I posted them online, and I got a lot of feedback. Within that same 20 to 30 minutes of me posting my first model of the set that I did on her, somebody that my sister went to school with that I also know, she called me on Facebook, and she was like, hey, can I come get my lashes done? And I was like, well, girl, I already have another model, so I could probably take you as a model like next weekend because I still have a job. She said, I'll pay you. Shit, you pay me? Okay, well, let's get it going. So I canceled my second model, and I told her she could come. I only charged her like $50. But that right there let me know, okay, you can start charging. And this is my advice to people in the beauty industry or is trying to get in the beauty industry. Sometimes we try to make things look so perfect, or we try to like perfect it before we start to service people. What you think might not be good, a customer might think it's good. So you should just go with it. Right then and there, I knew, okay, my work is good enough to charge because somebody's offering to pay me. So from that moment on, I started charging everybody $50. Now, I was still sometimes taking models. If I was taking a model, it was like my sister, just to get the content out. But I really didn't have to do models anymore because people were paying. And keep in mind, I still had this job at the bank. So it wasn't like I was desperate for money. I was still kind of in my mind like practice mode, but I can charge people who ask me to do their lashes. And I also started selling strip lashes. That was another hustle that I got into during that time. Because I figured, well, hell, if I'm going to do mink lashes, I might as well sell strip lashes as well. So I found me a vendor, and I ordered a bunch of lash strips from that vendor. I'm actually going to go grab. I started selling these for $30 a box. And I started making $500, like $400 to $500 every weekend by selling these. I just want to show you guys. So even though I wasn't making a lot of money doing minks, I was still making a killing off that. Because what would happen was I would advertise my lashes online while maybe I'm at work as a banker, while I was at PNC. I would advertise, hey, this is what I have in stock, da da da. By the time I got off or on the weekends, I would have a whole lineup. And basically, when I would go drop these boxes of lashes off, keep in mind, these are $30 a box. I would pull up on some girls, and they'd have 3 other girls in the car with them. So I'm finna sell 4 cases of these to a whole car of people. That's like $120 right there. Of one customer. Because one thing about girls is we're going to spend money to look good. That friend going to tell a friend. So I started to build a line off this phone. For strip lashes and doing mink lashes. But this was kind of like rolling harder because it was like quick money. You know, the only reason why I stopped selling these is because with me being a lash tech now and I have a full clientele, I don't have time to ride around no more and drop these off to people. Pickup is always available. But anyways, I was still working at PNC Bank as a banker. I was taking clients here and there. I was charging them like $50 to $60 each client. And then I was making a killing dropping these off. So I was comfortable. I was making some good money. Then I found out I was pregnant with my son. So that scared the shit out of me. That was the last straw, me finding out that I was pregnant with my son, to kind of like stick with the exit plan out of the bank. Because $50,000 wasn't cutting it for me anymore. Because if I'm making $500 in a weekend selling these, or in a week if I take a couple clients and I'm making $300-400, and y'all only pay me $50,000 a year, I started to do the math in my mind. It was not worth to stay at the bank. And on top of that, I found out I was pregnant. So I started to make my exit plan. I knew I needed a bigger place. I did not live in this condo that I live in now. I lived in a 1-bedroom apartment on 63rd and Kids. I moved out of there and I moved into this place. This is a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom. Before I changed that room into my son's room, that was the lash room. That's where I took my clients. I had set my whole lash set up in that room, and the master bedroom was my room. So I had basically made myself a business. I was working at PSC Bank, My clientele started to pick up. You know, I was getting clients now. I'm getting clients kind of left and right. And I was selling these. So I was kind of good as far as money. And I'm like, I got used to that money. It's like, shit, I don't want this to go away. I didn't want it to stop. And I'm a hustler anyway. So I'm going to chase the dollar. Keep in mind, I was doing all of this while I was pregnant up until I had my son. I was working my ass off. My daily life looked like this. I would get up at about 7 a.m. in the morning, pregnant, shower, drive downtown to work, get there about 8:30, get off work at 5 o'clock, and have 2 clients lined up, 7 and 9. To my clients that's watching this, that used to come in those slots, thank y'all. So, get up, 7 a.m., shower, run to work, get there by 8:30, get off at 5, come back here, take a client at 7 and 9. By the time I get off, you know, I couldn't go right to sleep, so sometimes I wouldn't go to sleep until 12 o'clock. Once I went to sleep, I would get right back up in the morning and do it all over again like clockwork. This was my life for the entire time that I was pregnant. Get up and work at the bank, get off, take some clients, sell some lashes, go to bed, do it all over again. I rarely had off days. Even sometimes on Sundays, I was taking people pregnant and all. I didn't give a damn. Great. By the time I kind of got close to the end of my pregnancy, I started realizing the money I was making was like, I'm making enough money to pay my rent, pay my car note. Before I had my son, I upgraded my car to a 2020 Jeep. So it was a new car off the lot. Nobody had driven it but me. So, but still in all, with my new condo, with my new Jeep, I was able to afford it. So when it got close for me to have my son, I started thinking to myself, can I quit this job? And I knew that I could. Now, I was scared because that was a safe, secure way to make money. I knew exactly how much I was going to make, and I knew exactly when it was going to come. Being an entrepreneur, you don't know when the money going to come. You know, as an entrepreneur, you might have 6 or 7 months where you making money back to back to back, and then you might have 1 month and it just completely slows the fuck down. That can scare some people, and I can see why, because you have a lifestyle that's now accustomed to this money. But me being who I am, I'm a risk taker, so I'm gonna always take all the risk. I don't play things safe, so I'm gonna take the risk. So I said, shit, I'm gonna have to do what I gotta do. So when it came time for me to have my son, keep in mind, I had full benefits because I was a banker at PNC Bank. So because I had full benefits, that meant I had 3 months of paid leave. I didn't have to go back until after 3 months. So I said to myself, well, what I'm going to do is when I go on leave, I'm going to open my schedule up, and I'm still going to work for myself. But I was still getting paid from the bank. So I started taking more clients in a day. So versus me taking somebody only at 7 and 9, I was taking somebody at maybe 12, 5, and 7. It's about 3 clients a day. It's pretty good. My sets had went from $50 to $100 minimum once I got into this place. So with me doing that over a couple months, I was able to raise my prices up higher to about $120 minimum because I got so good at what I was doing. So like I said, once I went on my paid leave, I opened my schedule up and I was taking about 3 people a day. So I said, this works good for me. I got my newborn baby. You know, he can stay home with me. I can work. He slept most of the time. So I would just pull him right next to me and do my lashes. And I kept building my clientele. By the time the 3 months of paid leave was up, I gave PNC an ultimatum. I said, well, I want to come back part-time. I don't want to come back full-time. Because it didn't make sense. I was making more money doing lashes and I was working less. And I could spend more time with my son. I didn't have to put my son in the daycare. So I gave them my ultimatum. I said, I want to come back part-time. They said, you can't come back part-time because you make a salary. I said, okay, well, I'll put my 2 weeks notice in. And that's what I did. And I started taking this way more serious. Because in my mind, I'm knowing like, okay, this is it. Now, keep in mind, I always have a backup plan because you never know. I had a 401k with PNC Bank that I was taking 8% out of my check. Usually people take 4% out of their check to put into their 401k. I was taking 8% out of my check, putting it into my 401k. So by the time I quit that job, I had $20,000 that I was able to pull. So in my mind, I was thinking, even if this Lash stuff does not go how I want it to go, I'll still have $20,000 that I'm sitting on. And it went exactly how I thought it would go. I didn't even need the $20,000 to pay any bills, because by that time I had a consistent clientele. My lashes was paying my bills. I also started training people because people started inquiring about learning about lashes. So I said, hell, I might as well start teaching them too. And I started teaching lash classes. At this point, I've trained over 50 girls. I've been doing lashes. I started in 2020. It's 2025 now. God damn. 2025. So I've been doing lashes for 4 years now. So I was good enough. At that time when I started training people, I was like 2 years in. So I was able to make money from that too, and train people and kind of give them my story and let girls know, like, hey, it's a lot of money in this. Don't sleep on the beauty industry. And I taught them everything that I know. So I was able to make money off that too. So again, the $20,000 that I had saved up with PNC, I didn't need that $20,000 to pay no bills, because at that point I was working Monday through Saturday, taking clients, 3 to 4 people a day. Lashes was, they not even what I charge now. At that time, it was like $120. Let's do the math on that. Keep in mind, $100,000. That's the whole point of this video. Once I started making $100,000, a bitch couldn't see me. Okay? So let's do the math. Hybrid sets was $120. Volume sets was $150. I don't even think I was doing bottoms at that time. I can't remember. But let's just say, okay, I was taking 3 to 4 people a day. 5 days, sometimes 6 days out the week, because I didn't have another job. It was just me doing lashes. $100,000. $100,000. And we're going to divide that by 12. And what do you get? $8,333. Now we're going to divide that by 4 weeks, because there's 4 weeks each month of the year. 4 weeks. So that's basically $2,100 a week. You need to make $2,100 a week to make $100,000. So we're going to divide that by 5 days. By 5. So I need to make $416 a day to hit that goal. So let's start doing some math. Keep in mind, hybrid was $120, volume was $140, and mega volume was $160. We're going to do $416 divided by 3 or 4 people. We'll just do 3. $416 divided by 3 clients. Keep in mind, minimum is $120 to get your lashes done by me. So $416 divided by 3 people, I believe we said. That's $138. My sets minimum were $120. As of now, my hybrid set is $130. My volume set is $150. My mega volume set is $170. Bottoms are $30. 2-week fill-ins are $90. 3-week fill-ins are $100. Pretty much all my clients get bottom lashes. It's like maybe 30% of my clients who don't get bottom lashes. I'm making over $100,000 now. The reason that I wanted to make this video is for people to understand you really create your own reality. I remember working at Enterprise at Midway as a rental agent. I will never forget, I sat at the computer, and because I want to be a defense attorney, I'm still going to school for that. I thought, $100,000, I know I can make a living off that. I know I can live lavish. I was thinking some shit bigger than this. So I remember, this is before I was working at my job at the bank. I think I was like maybe 21 or something, working at Enterprise. And I sat at the computer and I divided $100,000. And I said, okay, this is what I need to make. I was manifesting $100,000 well before I was even working at the bank. I manifested that. Because once you put it in your mind, you unconsciously take the steps you need to take to make what you need to make. I was thinking about $100,000 before I was even working at the bank. So I created my own reality. I make $100,000 because I want to make $100,000. I'm actually making more than that now. I'm going for 200 now. And I know I'm going to make it. I know I'm going to make $500,000. It's $500,000. I know I can hit $1 million. I know that because I create my own reality. And I unconsciously take the steps to make what my mind is already manifesting. All you got to do is plant the seed. That's all you have to do. And furthermore, the beauty in when I quit working for somebody else with the last job, PNC Bank, the beauty in that was that I was also able to go back to school part-time and finish my bachelor's degree with a newborn. I just graduated. Some people know this who's watching this video. I just graduated with my bachelor's degree. It makes me want to cry because it's like so real. I just graduated with my bachelor's degree last May. It hasn't even been a year yet. So when I quit PNC Bank, not only was I able to generate more money for myself, I was able to spend more time with my son, and I was able to go back to school and finish my bachelor's degree. There was no way that I was going to be able to do that still working for somebody else. So sometimes we have to jump out on faith and trust ourselves and understand that, again, we create the reality that we want. This is all an illusion, whether you believe it or not. It's an illusion. You create the reality you want, and I'm proof of that. Like I said, I didn't know how I was going to make $100,000. I just knew I was going to make it. I thought I was going to make that money being a lawyer. But now that I'm making $100,000 doing lashes, when I become a lawyer, I'm probably going to be making millions. Because when I want something so bad, I invest everything I have into it. So I encourage anybody that's thinking about trying something new. Maybe it's a content creator. Maybe you want to start your own business. Maybe you want to get in the beauty industry. Maybe you want to go start a trucking company. Who knows? Whatever it is. Maybe you want to get in real estate. Do it. Time is not waiting on anybody. We don't know what's happening after this. We don't know where we go after this. So while you're in the flesh, while you're still here, do what you got to do. What's the worst that can happen? And I used to always look at things like, shit, what's the worst that can happen? I didn't come from shit, nothing. Growing up, I didn't have my mom or my dad. Me and my sisters and brother, we went from house to house to house to house. And some people who's probably watching this video already know that. I didn't have a good upbringing. I created all of this off the muscle because of what I saw in my mind before I got to this point. So I hope that somebody takes this video and allows it to encourage them to do whatever it is that they want to do. And if anybody want to take my lash class, feel free to sign up. Because seriously, my lash classes for me are not just about teaching the technique of lashes. It's me like literally planting a seed in my girls. Because I want them to know this is going to be whatever you want it to be. You can take this as far as you want to take it. You can be whoever you want to be. You can take this money and invest it into something else, even if you don't want to do this for the rest of your life. Because I'm not going to be doing lashes for the rest of my life. I want to be a defense attorney. So, whatever your heart desires, you don't have to have a passion for whatever it is you want to get into. I never had a passion for lashes. I didn't even used to wear lashes before I started doing them. I just started wearing lashes when I started doing them in 2020. I didn't have a passion for lashes. Some people think you have to have a passion for this stuff. You absolutely don't. I'm passionate about making money. That's what drives me, money. However I can get it. No, I ain't going to be doing nothing strange for a little piece of change. I am going to hustle, though. I know how to do that. If there's a will, there's a way. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you guys come back.